And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Darren Smith along with Steve Walls, and we are live inside the Arrowhead Stadium press box where the Kansas City Chiefs will be hosting the NFL reigning Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. I know for somebody else. But kickoff here locally is at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. You can tune in if you're watching locally on the local NBC station of KSHP 41. Of course, otherwise, you'll be tuning in on ESPN Unlimited. Steve, there's a lot to unfold as we head into tonight's game, where both teams are 0-2 heading to the final preseason game. One, the Chiefs haven't won since 2022 preseason game. I don't think they actually care about it, which I found out about on a parlay slip years ago, so I stopped doing that. But they come into tonight's game, and they're both going to be starting their third-string quarterbacks, Jalen Milroe for the Seahawks and Gus Nussmeier, Garrett Nussmeier for the Kansas City Chiefs. So when we look at this matchup tonight, what's your initial thoughts with no starters, or essentially no starters playing tonight?
I mean, my initial thought is what we've been talking about is no Patrick Mahomes. It's the third preseason game, and you don't have your starting quarterback playing, and he's coming back from an injury. So that's the light bulb that came on for me. Is like I'm trying to figure out why why even Andy Reid would not even let him take some handoffs or something of that nature to get him reacclimated to playing football.
The only thing that came to my mind is not that he's afraid, but being more cautious than anything else, that you don't want somebody who's a third or fourth string trying to take a cheap shot at Patrick. Because I don't think he would get hit by handing it off, but somebody could try to make a name for themselves or just be that guy and try to go after Patrick's leg or whatever, and then we're right back. And then the flip side is, well, why was you playing him?
Yeah.
So that's my only, I guess.
Same thing could happen on Monday night against Denver, against a much better defense.
Yeah.
Against a proven defense.
Well, and that's the flip side, because you essentially is the last time he has been full contact or that has gotten hit was when he had the injury. And Patrick has always talked about wanting to train his body how to fall during the preseason. That's why he enjoyed taking those preseason runs. But he also knows how valuable he is, that he can't afford to be injured going into the season, especially with the first game being the Denver Broncos. And look, we know last year when the Chiefs played the Los Angeles Chargers in Brazil, they lost, obviously Xavier Worthy being knocked out of game, third play of the game. And then Harrison Butker missing a kick, and then they try to go for two later on in that game, and they weren't able to do it. And, of course, ended up losing. They fell 0-1 in the division, which essentially is a two-game loss against your division foes. And so you really can't take that chance if you're the Chiefs, with Mahomes. I mean, obviously the league did Clark Hunt and Andy Reid and Patrick Saleh by allowing him to be the very last game of week number 1 to give him every opportunity to rest up and get prepared for that Monday night matchup against the Denver Broncos, because, again, they're coming in to Arrowhead with bad intentions, because, one, they feel like because they won the division and they made it to the AFC Championship game, that the first game for them should have been at home versus here in Kansas City. So,
they definitely are. Teams definitely feel like that this team is beatable. It's kind of just like there's a chink in their armor, and once teams start to smell blood, it's like sharks swimming around in the water. That the fact that they understanding there's not like the king of the hill anymore. And so Denver, being that they won the AFC West last year and they feel like they were one game away from going to the Super Bowl, I really feel like they have something to prove. Right, like they've been to where this team was. You remember when they hadn't been to an AFC Championship game in years, and they finally got back there, and of course they lost against Tom Brady. And so the next year they came back and was like, get back season, whatever it was. And so you look at it now and it's like, but I still feel the fact that he needs some kind of. Now I brought this up earlier to someone, and they were just like, oh well. Aaron Rodgers hasn't played preseason or doesn't play preseason and still comes out. And I'm just, my thing is just this. I'm like, Aaron Rodgers plays a different style of football than Patrick Mahomes does. Patrick Mahomes uses his legs, so he's now having to learn a new tool, if that makes sense, where he's not going to be able to use his legs as much as he was, or if he does, that could be detrimental to him.
Well, look, I mean, the way I look at it, and one of the things that I want to talk about was with the lack of starters playing. One of the things I was interested in is, as the Chiefs head into cuts this week, well, the NFL, they head into the cuts this week, and after tonight's games, teams will be cutting their roster down to 53 by a Sunday deadline of 6, I think it's either 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern time. But some of the biggest concerns that Chiefs Kingdom has is dealing with the injuries. And of course, as we're talking about Mahomes, I also want to look at some of the other players, that Chiefs Kingdom have concerns about. And,
Sure.
Obviously the last week and a half has been talk of a foot injury with Kenneth Walker. That's the Chiefs' biggest, on the field acquisition this offseason. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not, again, there's, we don't know the severity of it. Obviously he's not playing in tonight's game against his former team. Your thoughts on the fact that, the Chiefs are going to be without him, and we don't know the severity of the extent of his injury.
And the injury bug definitely has gotten to this team early, and that's the thing that they are not used to, right? Like they have definitely been a leader in not having these injuries and soft tissue injuries and things like that. So I don't know how severe it is. Like if it's something that he's not gonna play week 1 or what. But I mean, I feel like if he's 90%, that's better than what they've had in the past.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And look, and for me, I don't say I'm gonna challenge you on this, but I look back to Patrick. I wouldn't even say it's a new style for him. I go back to 2022 when the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, and he had to kind of revamp to redo the offense because he had so many different receivers. Now it's like instead of trying to go deep all the time, now he can afford to go across the middle, somewhat dink and duck. I mean, you had a rookie Pacheco, so you had a decent running game at that time as rookie year. So I mean, again, that's what I see as it relates to the Chiefs potentially with this offense this year.
But you got to think about that year. That year, the whole mantra of Patrick to the receivers was just keep running.
Yeah.
And that meant he was going to extend the play by using his legs and then getting out and hitting them wherever they were. He wasn't going to sit in the pocket and try to figure things out. He was going to have to get out and use his legs. And that is him, right? Like he's not going to sit back there under center and just, stay in the pocket. That's just... I think he's having to learn how to do that.
If you're Chiefs Kingdom, do you have any concern whatsoever that Kenneth Walker won't be ready by week 1?
No, I think come hell or high water, just from talking to K9 is just his makeup of he's gonna be ready to go.
Yeah, no,
and not only that, he's kind of made a promise to this team, right? Like coming in. Hey, I'm the MVP. I won a Super Bowl last year. I'm joining a Super Bowl-esque team.
Yeah.
And so I'm the new kid on the block, but I'm still the man. So if Pat plays, he's playing.
Oh, I mean, the big question is if Pat plays, does everybody else play? And I kind of made unfortunately, my own roster as it relates to players who are on the injury list that we have not seen thus far in preseason. I'm going to start from the inside and work our way out. We talk about Kenneth Walker, and I do want to ask one last question about the running game. If for whatever reason he could play but still be limited, should Chiefs Kingdom be, should they be able to sleep well knowing that the backups being, Emmett and DeMarcado, some of these backups, some of these rookies can fill the void?
I think so. I mean, I think DeMarcado, he's played, with Arizona, whether it's good performance or not, he still had some experience and he has something to prove. Emmett Johnson's coming in with something to prove. So, I mean, you really got to understand if you're a fan watching this team that everybody's coming in here with something that they're wanting to prove, whether it be from Patrick to Travis and Chris Jones and company, wanting to let people know that, hey, we can still get to at least the AFC Championship game.
Pregame Cheat Sheet, Darren Smith along with Steve Walls. We're live inside the Arrowhead Stadium press box. Kickoff is about 45 minutes away. I'm not gonna lie to the fans. It's not a pack house tonight, so yeah. I don't know. You're gonna try to fool them.
Friday night, date night,
Friday night lights. Hey, now, Has high school football started?
They start this week.
Okay, well, see, and week 0 in the NFL. So I know you might have other things to do, but we appreciate you tuning in to us right now. Steve, going down the injury bug, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. Now, Worthy, I know he has some shoulder issues or whatever, and I think he's been limited along with Rashee in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we haven't seen him, and obviously Rashee had the gel issue, is that cause for concern that either one of them may not be ready by week 1?
I think both of those guys are going to be playing week 1. I really do. I don't think you're just with the fact of just watching them in preseason. I know Xavier Worthy didn't do much of training camp until the final week or so. I think he's going to be playing week 1 and Rashee as well. Granted, you got to remember too that Andy holds a lot of these cards close to his vest.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
And so he's not going to let anybody know, how serious an injury is or anything like that. And just the simple fact that Xavier Worthy has been practicing, I think is a benefit to him and a benefit to this team.
My pushback, if there is one, because we know how Andy has done over the years, is that using the regular season, and I get it. A lot of teams try to do it where they use the first couple of games to get their players in game speed, but that's how you can also get them hurt or further hurt, because again, practice is one thing, but if you've been wearing a yellow jersey, you haven't been taking a lot of contact. We already saw how he took a hit, coming across the middle. Granted, he didn't see it.
It was friendly fire, though.
No, I'm saying, but still, if you're not prepared for it, we saw he was out a few weeks. So, again, no concern for you either way that these players, even in week 1 against the Broncos, they're going to be extremely physical. I mean, Patrick Surtain is not, is not a defensive MVP out at the corner for nothing. So, putting him on Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy is like they might just be out there trying to build up their cardio because they're probably going to get locked down depending on who he's guarding.
Here's the thing about it. Both these teams know each other, right? We can both agree on that.
Yeah,
and so I would definitely say that Andy is a better coach than Sean Payton.
Yeah,
and just being frank, I think if you're planning for a week 1 game, and your guys haven't played, that's just giving them. You just said it, 5 minutes ago that it's giving them the NFL is giving them an extra day, or to get prepared for whatever's we're ready for for game 1. So my biggest concern is again Patrick Mahomes. Like all these other guys, you can kind of plug and play and. Shoot, Eric Bieniemy's back. He said it all the time. Next man up. They coach their backups to be starters, correct?
He did say that.
So if that's the case, then my only concern would be is number 15 going to be out there with game 1.
You bring up Eric Bieniemy. That was actually my next point that I was going to bring up. He made some comments this week as it relates to a question that was asked to him regarding Rashee Rice, and he
hard-headed.
He called him hard-headed. Now, granted, when he talked about Patrick being a competitive prick, that was taken in a competitive, positive light. Generally, when you call somebody hard-headed, and he tried to make it as positive as he could, but based off of what we've seen over the last couple of years with Rashee Rice's off-field stuff, and how he talked about, trying to coach him a little bit different. Now, this is going to be his first time being coached by Eric Bieniemy because he came in afterwards with Nagy. How should those comments be taken? If you're Chiefs Kingdom, if you're a fan watching him say that or hearing him say that, and then if you're Rashee Rice hearing a coach at the podium with mics live calling you hard-headed.
The general nature of that comment is, and I'm gonna be take it behind the curtain real quick and be quite transparent. When black folks say it, hard-headed, that's just a term that we use. It says like, man, you hard-headed, like you gonna learn. And
one way or the other.
You gonna learn. Yeah, like so, and we've hard-headed. You gonna learn today, right? Yeah. Like so, I think what he was meaning by that is he's gonna learn and he's got to learn, and it comes with age. Like Rashee Rice is what 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25 years old. So I mean, you still got a lot of learning to do, right? I think when you come into this league and being a professional, you understanding that hey, I'm a pro now and I can't do the same things and hang around the same guys that I used to. Right, like so, he's Rashee Rice even said, and when he talked to the media a couple of weeks ago, hey, I've learned that I can't do that, and I think it's kind of clearing out your circle. So that's what he means by, and it works twofold. And
it's 26. That's 26.
Scary. Yeah. So you understand, like, hey, game time, I'm hard headed because I'm still utilizing these same things that I was doing. I'm just playing off talent, pure talent. And then on the flip side of that, it's personal life. But I think that he's learned and understood.
And now a couple of things. One, I think he was the only one with the credibility to say that now, because one, Chad O'Shea couldn't get. He's just coming in, and he's just not going to say that. And you know, Bieniemy, he just don't give it. But I say that, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but it's like maybe somebody probably had to say it, because we can say it on our respective platforms, but saying it there again, and I'm just going to go with the opposite stuff, because at the moment, because you know, when we look at it, when he first had the car incident, you know, the drag race stuff, you know, we talked to him at training camp, and he said all the right things then, but then turned around, you know, saying, and a little time later, you know, he had a couple other incidents, and it's like, you know,
and people got to understand too, he had the car accident, and then it was not another incident like that. Yeah. Like it was, I'm smoking marijuana and I urinated dirty when he went to see his parole. So that's kind of that's a different thing than doing something and getting in trouble.
I get that, but don't forget, after the season last year, he had the whole stuff come out, whether it's true or not, just a bad publicity about his personal life with his with this ex, and so I mean that's not. I mean, again, you put yourself in a position where you don't have to, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
But then on the field, you know, to me, you're not in a position to not listen to someone like Bieniemy, because over the last, you know, I mean, based off of the Chiefs firing the wide receiver last year, you know, there were comments attributed to both you and Xavier Worthy that you all didn't learn anything, you know. So it's like, again, you don't have the cachet built enough, you know, because of stuff that took place off the field, and you haven't been on the field long enough to, you know, to have that cachet where you can kind of buck your OC when he's trying to tell you to run and you trying to jog, metaphorically speaking.
And here's the thing about that too, is the fact that I understand where he was meaning, because these young dudes is different. Like they come out of I can't remember who they call them NIL babies, right? Like they coming out of college and they're a different breed of youth, and so sometimes you gotta say it where it may hurt them a little bit or it may sting, you know, whatever. But I really feel like he meant it with all good intentions.
No, I get it.
You know how people gonna take it. People gonna take it one way, but he's definitely meaning it another way. And so Rashee Rice has to do nothing else but respect it.
The biggest thing that I hope he takes from that and anything else, like, this is your contract year. Like, you're hoping, and this is what I've said. I know we talk about it on our respective platforms, is that if the Chiefs, if he balls out this year, that already means the Chiefs are going to be doing well. And if he wants that next contract, whether it's with Kansas City or whether it's with another team, like, he has to ball out. If he puts up numbers, the team is putting up numbers, and, you know, and that's going to circulate to wins. And you can get a $30, $35 million, may not be in Kansas City, but you can get it for somebody if they feel like they can count on you both on the field and off the field.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but he's got to remember that, and that's another reason why I said, you asked me a couple minutes ago, will he play or will Xavier Worthy play? Yeah, I think Rashee Rice, he has no choice. Even if he's not 100, he's got to go out there, and because he's another guy that's coming in here that has to prove what he can do.
Both he and Worthy, because Worthy needs to have his 5th-year option picked up. Now, the biggest news that I had a former Chiefs player and a Ring of Honor player text me this week, ask me about Josh Simmons.
Okay.
Now, he being out and you know, some other reports about, you know, his back or, you know, the stuff like that. Do you think he's going to be ready by week 1? And do you feel that the Chiefs acquiring, and of course Trey Smith as well, do you feel like the Chiefs acquiring Joshua Ezeudu via trade with New York is insurance policy for either one of these players?
I think it is an insurance policy. I mean, we talked about Josh Simmons earlier this year. Yeah. The fact that he came and was getting ready for, you know, OTAs, and his weight was down. right? Like,
Like
and that was my question to him was like, man, you look more slim, you look more cut, but he put on, I would go out on a limb and say 25, 30 pounds.
I don't know what the hell he was eating.
Yeah, 25, 30 pounds within months. And so I think it still is an insurance policy. I don't know what the back issue is. I mean, granted, he's another guy that has to be out on the field.
I agree.
He went down with his broken wrist, and
I mean, and then the time that he spent off last year. I mean, again, that was concern again from a Ring of Honor player that texted me. Asked me what he had his word, proven or done otherwise. Until we see what happens week 1, we got to roll with that.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot riding on the tackle spot because that's the.
Again,
yeah. I mean, that's the that they. What else is happening with other teams, right? Like, because it's just guys just get banged up.
Yeah,
I think it just need a little rest in 2 weeks. If we talk about having 2 weeks, you're gonna have 2 weeks to be able to rest between today and game 1. So I think everybody be all right.
Let's kind of look back to tonight's game where the Chiefs will be hosting the Seattle Seahawks as fans are starting to quietly fill in the stadium seats. Most of them are dressed as empty seats, but they are here nonetheless. Steve, teams have been scoring about 30 points. I think most of the NFL teams have scored 30 points this preseason, even with the backups, while Kansas City has struggled to score on offense. Now, again, do know that with context, I know a lot of media folk don't use context. A lot of the starters haven't been there. But is there still cause for concern, especially when you see other teams and their backups, or some teams that played their starters last night, such as the Chargers with Justin Herbert, that they're putting up points like this? I mean, as they head into the regular season?
Yes and no. I would say no because we've heard Andy Reid, we heard quarterbacks.
You are hilarious.
Listen,
I get it.
It's I would say the fact that Andy wants them to try different things, and the fact that they're trying to get used to their new personnel. Is no, you're not going to come out and light the scoreboard up, and then the other part of that is 15's not out there. But then you got to understand too, it's like we saw in game 1 here where they had, I don't know what the run pass ratio was, but it was definitely more run than pass.
Oh, they ran for 125 yards.
Yeah. So
28 carries, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So that within itself will let you know that, hey, they're working on figuring out block technique, figuring out, different things. And then you had a lot of penalties too.
Oh God.
So I think you add all that up, and it's not a cause for concern, I don't think.
So the players that's going to be playing tonight, at least for Kansas City, and we'll get to the roster cuts in just a little bit, but what are you expecting from Nussmeier? And of course, I know you're disappointed Drew Lock, a local kid from Lee Summit that is on the Seattle team that won his first Super Bowl this year. What do you feel like you're going to see from Milroe and Nussmeier tonight?
Yeah, man, I really feel like Nussmeier has he's trying to make that third QB role, right? Like I think he
makes it, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So let me ask you this: if Nussmeier comes out there and lights it up, is he in the running for QB2?
See, I've been talking about that the last 2-3 weeks. I'm talking about that since the first preseason game. I mean, I'd like to say yes. I think because of the salary constraints, I don't. That to me, I think kind of plays ways out. However, I do think he's done enough to be QB3, and I know. To me, I think of Chris Oladukin along the lines of Gary Dieter. saying someone that's close to Patrick, being in that room with him the last 3-4 years, that push going to shove, Patrick's going to push for him. Now, based off his play last year, I think the Chiefs could waive him and sign him to the practice squad. Nobody's going to pick him up. I think, I think that. But I think if you do that with Nussmeier, I think somebody would pick him up. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just to answer your question. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm 100% because just the way that he's played and some of the throws, completions that he's made, I feel like he's now. Granted, I know it's all vanilla. There's no scheme, as far as defensively and exotic blitzes and all that thing.
So understand when we're talking. Trust me, we have to come up with a lot of different topics for tonight, because it's going to be hard for us to watch here live while you're watching on.
I think it'll be hard for me, man. Whatever. I think it's going to be. I want to see the way Nussmeier plays. I definitely do.
Well, and I was going to sit around, like, we see him. I believe we're going to see Emmett Johnson and Cyrus Allen. I don't think we're going to see Tyquan Thornton, but I do think we'll get a lot of Jalen Rose. Who are you most interested in watching that? Because for me, it's going to be the wide receivers, just to see how they've been able to pick up the offense as much as they've been able to play. And then, knowing that they're players like a Jalen Rose or a few others trying to make this team.
I think it's offensive line, man.
Oh,
yeah. I do. I mean, because you got all these guys that the Chiefs. Here's one thing that I've noticed about this Chiefs team, and I'm pretty sure you noticed it too. The fact that they get mid-season, they have one guy go down, and then there's a head scratcher of like, okay, well, who can step in? Yeah. Who can step in? Who can fill that role? So they've I would hope have learned from. What year was that? 2021, where the guys went down and Patrick was running for his life.
No, that was 2020, the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, I really want to see what these backups have. I mean, you got a bunch of guys that are fighting for spots, and I want to see how they bang tonight. To be honest.
Pause. That was pause worthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Chiefs, we got Seattle. Preseason number 3. Both teams are 0-2. Again, the Chiefs haven't won since 2022. Again, I don't think they care. So even though they're 2.5-point favorites, that's going to be interesting. Now after tonight, both teams and the rest of the NFL, I know Cleveland has started cutting players, but they got to get down to 53-man roster. Is there a particular group that you're interested to see who makes the team and who the Chiefs cut or waive?
Running back is my top.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's the defensive backs, especially when it comes to cornerback. I mean, because Mansour's going to be there, and they signed L'Jarius Sneed in the offseason.
I mean, what you got with those guys.
Well, I think you and I feel that way, but trust me, there are a lot of people like, well, he hasn't played, he hasn't really practiced. Why did you bring him in? Now,
veteran.
I agree, but you got him listed as cornerback 1 and 2. Along with.
I mean, I can run through you right. I can run. I can run through this list right now and tell you the DBs. How many DBs are we keeping?
I think 7, man.
7. Okay.
Now, all right, that's just how.
Keep count. L'Jarius Sneed 1. Noah Williams 2. Mansour Delane 3.
Kristen Fulton, you think he stays?
Alohi Gilman, or those are safeties. Man, or we just gonna do DBs all the Alohi Gilman.
I'm talking about cornerbacks.
Cornerbacks, okay. L'Jarius Sneed, Noah Williams, Mansour Delane. And then it's kind of a toss up because Christian Fulton, they still have a lot of money tied up in him.
Yeah, about $10 million.
Yeah, so you almost at this point have to.
But there are teams that are looking for cornerbacks, and I mentioned a team earlier who's already cut players. I think, and I can't remember if they signed one or not, but it's Cleveland. I know they're looking for they might be looking for someone to go alongside Denzel Ward.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't gonna be Christian Fulton. I mean, then you got Alohi Gilman and Shamari Connor. I think they could keep Chris Roland Wallace and Jaden Hicks. So, I mean, Jaden Kennedy is another one I feel like they keep. I like Kevin Knowles and I like Melvin Smith. So that would be my group.
Do you think Jaden Hicks has done enough to move back into the starting lineup? Or do you just think with Gilman and Connor, you're just going to be relegated to third string? Second string or just.
I think Jaden Hicks has done enough to move up into the starting role. Now, granted, Shamari Connor has been injured, so I think Jaden Hicks is right there. He even when I talked to him, what was that, after game one, and he spoke about just gaining confidence and understanding where he is on the field and that sort of thing. I think that it's kind of slowed down for him now.
One question I do want to ask, you being in Tampa last week, you had a chance to see Harrison Butker kick the 69-yard field goal.
Yeah.
I think his first one he made was 58 to the 69, but then he missed the field goal later on in the game and an extra point. Highs and lows, your thoughts on his performance as we get, as we near the start of the season?
To me, it looked like Harrison Butker.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him after the first game, and one of the things he was telling me was that he felt it because he's not going down to his knee after his kicks, which was what he was doing last year because he was trying to I guess just balancing the injury and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he looked like Harrison Butker. And I know one of the things that he talked about in preseason when he spoke was the fact that he's trying to be more consistent from 45 to 50 yards, or 40 to 50 yards. Like that's the spots where he wants to be more consistent.
One of the things that I was talking about throughout the summer is that, and especially last week, is that a lot of Chiefs fans were wondering about Butker and whether or not we should be concerned. The biggest thing I would say is that only be concerned if the offense isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, because if they're scoring points, you just need them for the 1 point.
Right.
If you're relying on him to be the leading scorer coming out of each game with 3 or 4 field goals, that's going to be a problem. That should be the big concern versus him missing a field goal here, extra point there.
Yeah.
Granted, they all count and they do add up as we saw. Yeah. But if the Chiefs are scoring touchdowns, then you limit the amount of times that he's going to be called on to hit a game-winning field goal or something, unless the defense just not acting up, not acting right.
I mean, that is true, 100%. But I feel like this offense has to get rolling in order for that not to happen.
But again, they're not getting these reps.
You ain't gonna win too many games,
and you don't know what to expect right now when week number 1. And again, it's not like the week 2 game where they got the Indianapolis Colts. You're starting with the Denver Broncos, who had one of the top 3 defenses last year. And again, they're coming with bad intentions. Now, I'm not saying that Indianapolis isn't, but nobody's really thinking too much about Indianapolis versus in week number 2.
I haven't paid attention to it. How has Denver looked this preseason?
Well, they probably have the Chiefs and kind of resting their players.
Has Bo Nix played?
I don't think so. No. I don't think he has.
So that kind of evens the playing field. If you and let me ask, and I'll ask the folks that are watching on us, and just type it in the chat, if you will. If you have Bo Nix that's coming off of not playing any preseason, and you got Patrick Mahomes not playing any preseason, and you have to start one of them week 1, which one you gonna start?
Well, I already know Bo Nix is gonna be ready to go week 1. I mean, because
you're not answering my question.
What's that?
You got Bo Nix coming off the injury that he's coming off of, not playing any preseason.
But they're different injuries.
Listen.
Okay.
And starting week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Patrick Mahomes coming off of the injury that he had, and he hasn't played any preseason. And starting when you got to pick one to start your team, you got this team. Who you gonna pick?
We'll pick Mahomes, man. I mean,
I want to know.
We've got free Super Bowl trips because of him, so I'm always gonna go with Mahomes.
I just want to know, because here's the thing: if you picking Mahomes, then that would mean Patrick can come out and without have played any preseason and play against Bo Nix and should dominate. Am I right or wrong?
Well, one, a little bias because it's Mahomes, but also Mahomes is going to get
somebody said Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, that's Croy. He said, "Is that a real question?"
Yeah. I mean, we're
he tried to dance around you, man.
No. Unlike you, I didn't go both. No. I didn't say yes or no. I had to watch because I wasn't going to do a pause thing. But yeah, so my choice is going to be Patrick. It's probably always going to be Patrick. But again, that's for kind of selfish reasons because of what he has done and what he's shown. And we know the man and we know his work ethic and him being able to come back. However, him coming back to dominate is a different question because of the team. Again, if week one was the Indianapolis Colts, yes, I think he'd come back and dominate. But he's coming back week one against different. Now, whether that defense carries over from last year to this year remains to be seen. Now, if that defense is kind of similar to what it was last year, going to have a work cut out, especially when essentially none of the starters have been playing this preseason. With outside of a few reps from Kenneth and Travis.
Has Denver's defense been playing this preseason? Starters?
You don't really need to on defense. You just attacking the ball.
Why not?
I mean, because first of all, they're doing the hit team. You're trying to avoid getting hit.
Has Surtain played this preseason? Nah. Okay. All right. I just want to know. I mean, getting live reps is getting live reps.
I get it, but let me ask you this. If you trusted one player, either at the wide receiver position for the Chiefs and going up against Patrick Surtain, who you picking in that matchup?
I get any wide receiver from the Chiefs.
No, I don't care if it's Worthy. I don't care if it's Rice. Okay. Who you picking between them and a defensive player of the year in Patrick Surtain? Who was the number one cornerback in the league? Oh, no.
Honestly, right now, if I got to
pick,
got
up two-stepping people.
No. Right now, I would pick Cyrus Allen.
No.
You said I asked you, could I get anyone? He hasn't played.
I said between Surtain, Rice, and Worthy.
I go with Surtain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's just, he's proven, like you said, Patrick.
Okay. So we'll go down and prove it. You would pick Cyrus Allen. That's my guy. But you're gonna pick Cyrus Allen over Patrick Surtain.
If Patrick Surtain hasn't played a rep.
Okay.
In preseason,
is healthy too, though. But
Cyrus Allen is too.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Because here's another thing. You got a young bull in Cyrus Allen that doesn't know any better, right? You don't know what you don't know, and you're gonna get out there and just try to do what you're gonna do. And this other dude hasn't played at all. So it's gonna take him a couple reps.
That big trophy behind him too.
It's all right.
Okay, I get it. Okay, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying, doing the electric slide to an answer. So I appreciate that, Steve. As we get ready to get out of here for tonight's show, we will be back. Of course, I don't even know how many days it is, but September the 14th.
19 days, I think.
19. Yeah. So. Man, that's a long time, or 18, I think. Well, I don't know. All I know is we'll be back September 14th, back here at Arrowhead Stadium Monday night, where the Chiefs take on the Denver Broncos, and Steve and I will be doing the pregame cheat sheet at 6:30 p.m. Kickoff is going to be at 7:15. Again, it's going to be on ABC, ESPN, and whatever other channel that they can think of at that time. Steve, final thoughts on tonight's matchup between these two teams?
Man, I just want to see who we gonna be able to keep. You know, this is where and Emmett Johnson talked about it last week. He said this is where guys get comfortable. Mm-hmm. Some guys that feel like they've made the team, they've done enough to prove themselves. He was like, he's gonna be one of those guys that doesn't feel that way. He's gonna come out and still continue to put his foot on the gas. I want to see all the guys like that.
I do want to ask you. I want to make sure people. If you follow us on social media, at Steve Walls KC, at Darren Smith NFL, I do want to make sure I give you your props. You got a chance to speak to Mansour Delane last week.
Only person that did?
No. Last week in Tampa. Your thoughts in your, I watched it, but I want you to let people know, your thoughts in your conversation and how you felt about it first came out.
Yeah, I think he was definitely ready to get out there. Like we saw, one of my main question was the fact that during preseason he was not able to play. He had a yellow jersey on and
training camp.
Training camp. He, every huddle for the defensive guys, he would run over here to play and then run back off the field.
Yeah.
And he was doing that consistently. And so I asked him about running out the tunnel. He's like, man, it's just like, you're like you felt as you were a kid. And he definitely felt like that was mission accomplished, but he wanted to, and this is where it kind of let me into, behind the curtain a little bit. The fact that he said, I wish I would have got a pick. I was looking to get a pick. He's like, because I asked him about going up against Baker. He's like, man, I was looking to get a pick.
And you were about getting the pick against Bo Nix.
That's confidence.
No,
right?
That is confidence, but it's also, kind of anticipating on what, on hopefully things to come.
Yeah.
But again,
so
he needs to get that.
It's just one of those things you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how, good teams are until you actually get out there and play them. So I think that's a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he's one of those young dudes that is definitely confident. I expect big things from him, to be honest.
I do as well. Of course, he's going to be under a lot of pressure just because of the shoes that he's replaced, and then his draft pick as well.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And of course, Peter Woods. Eventually, when he gets out there, he's got a little hype to live up to as well. Thank you so much for joining us on the pregame cheat sheet. Before we get out of here, you want to thank our sponsors?
Yeah, I want to thank my friends over at Dillard's on Onerosa. Remember to go and talk to my guy Harmon Brown. He'll take care of you in the men's department over there at Dillard's, located in Zona Rosa, basically right by the airport. So if you're coming into Kansas City, you're flying in for a game, you're leaving, just go stop by Dillard's right over at Zona Rosa and tell him I sent you.
And of course, for myself, I definitely got to thank my guy Todd White at Todd's Closures and Taylor Suits. Two different locations, one out in at the Legends, World Parkway, but also the Legends. And also, look, I've got to say that I had too many people at work today complimenting the blazer and the stuff. So appreciate you, Todd, on that. But also, we would be remiss to, not give a shout out to Gates Barbecue. Now, right now, they got a lot of stuff going on. But if you're out of town and you want, you hear me and you see our photos and stuff that we eat, we're at Gates, it is probably the barbecue choice for our new running back, Kenneth Johnson. And so, Emmett Johnson. I'm thinking about Kenneth Walker. But when you think about Gates, go to the website, gatesbarbecue.com. You can get the seasoning, the sauces, and trust me, when you're at the restaurants, they got 5 locations here in Kansas City. You can get the ribs, my go-to order, fries, seasoning. You got the Bernie Mac, all the good stuff. But again, go to the website, gatesbarbecue.com. Get all the seasoning. They got the sweet and mild. They got the the original, extra hot. That's what you want to put on the fries too. Got the sauces, the mild, hot, classic, as well as the sweet and mild. So for Steve Walls, I am Darren Smith. Again, follow Steve Walls at Steve Walls KC. Follow myself at Darren Smith NFL. Appreciate you all tuning in tonight. We'll be back on the 14th of September. God, this is a long way away, man. 14th of September, where we kick off the NFL season here in Kansas City against the Denver Broncos. Thank you so much. Take care. Go Chiefs.